Hello, my friends. I bought myself a new book. It's called Butterflies in Room 6, and it's by Caroline Arnold, and I'm very excited about it because you can see right here on the front cover, that's a painted lady butterfly, just like the painted lady butterfly that we have in our classroom. Now, I know a little bit about these guys because for a lot of years now, I have had painted lady butterflies in my classroom around about this time of year. But if I look at the back cover, here's something I've never seen in person. I've never seen the eggs. I've never gotten to see the painted lady butterfly eggs before, because when I get my painted lady butterflies, they're always still just little teeny tiny caterpillars in a cup with some caterpillar chow. So I'm pretty excited to see the beginning pages of this book. So here we go. You can see on the inside of the front cover, I wrote my name. You can find that on all of my books. Here we go. Oh, that's a really good picture of a painted lady butterfly. I want to show you. See those antennae? You can see there's a little ball at the end of those antennae. I have another activity for another video with that. Here we go. There's our title page. Okay, let's see. It says here, the children in room 6 are learning about butterflies. Their teacher, Mrs. Best, has brought butterfly eggs to school. In about 4 weeks, the tiny eggs will become beautiful painted lady butterflies. How does this happen? The children will watch and find out. Now let's see what it says here. It says, sometimes the children see painted lady butterflies in the school garden. And if you have the kinds of flowers that butterflies like in this part of New York, you might see them too. It also says on this leaf, it says, butterflies help plants grow by carrying pollen from flower to flower. Plants need pollen to make fruit and seeds. It says here, dozens of butterfly eggs come in a little tube. Maybe just like how we got our caterpillars in a cup, they get their eggs in a tube. All right. The first stage of a butterfly's life is an egg. And a painted lady egg looks like a grain of blue salt. Would you look at that? And I think we talked about this in class. Why does the mommy butterfly like to lay her eggs on a leaf? That's right. It's just like if your mommy put you to bed on a giant sandwich. That way, when you wake up, you could just roll over and start eating. And all of those little teeny tiny eggs, when they hatch and those caterpillars come out, they just have to start eating, because that's what caterpillars like to eat. They like to eat nice green leaves. All right, let me read this part. It says here, like many insects, a butterfly has 4 stages of life. A painted lady's life begins with a small blue egg. The egg becomes a caterpillar, and then a pupa, and finally a butterfly. Here we have number 2. It says, a larva is the second stage of a butterfly's life. A butterfly larva is also called a caterpillar. And take a look, that's what our little guys looked like when we got our cup, isn't it? Yep. The third stage of a butterfly's life is a pupa. We haven't really used that phrase a whole lot in school, but there it is, a pupa. And you saw that in our school, right? You saw that. That's the chrysalis. A butterfly pupa is covered by a thin shell called a chrysalis, and inside the chrysalis, the pupa changes into a butterfly. This process is called, I know you know this, metamorphosis. There's that big word that means a big change. Metamorphosis. The last stage of a butterfly's life is an adult, And the butterfly is an adult insect, a grown-up insect. Miss Janice, this book is going to take a really long time if you don't speed it up, huh? Let's see what happens here. Mrs. Best puts the butterfly eggs into a large plastic box. Inside the eggs, the caterpillars are growing. The children add some caterpillar food. After the eggs hatch, the caterpillars will crawl to the food and start eating. Does that look like a nice green leaf? It doesn't, but it does look like what we had in our caterpillar's cup, because we said caterpillars that live outside in the trees like to eat nice green leaves. Caterpillars that live in the classroom in a little cup, they eat caterpillar chow. Alrighty. It says here, the food is a mix of all the nutrients that painted lady caterpillars need to grow. But in the wild, they eat leaves. By the next day, the eggs are hatching. There they are. The caterpillars crawl out and they look like tiny dark specks. Each one is smaller than a sesame seed. I've never seen them when they're that small. The caterpillars eat and eat. Each day they grow a little bigger. The children spread more food on the bottom of the box. When a caterpillar grows too big for its skin, the skin splits and falls off, and a new skin is underneath. You can see those little specks that are mixed in with the caterpillar chow, or sometimes they're on the sides of the cup. We have that in our cup. That's what that is. That's when the caterpillar grows. It leaves some of its skin behind. Here we go. After a week, the caterpillars are about a ½ an inch long. Mrs. Best gently picks up each caterpillar with a paintbrush and puts it into a cup. Small holes in the lid let in air. And our cup had holes on the top too, remember? The caterpillars, they keep eating and growing and eating and growing. Now, the caterpillars are 2 weeks old. One by one, they crawl to the top of the cup, and first they make a patch of sticky silk on the paper towel that's under the lid. Our lid had a little piece of paper there too. And the caterpillar attaches its hind end, that's the back side, to the silk and curls up like the letter J. Did we see one of our caterpillars do this? The next day, the caterpillar sheds its skin for the last time, and it twists and shakes until the skin slips off. And now the caterpillar is a pupa, and it is covered by a soft chrysalis. And we've seen these chrysalises in our classroom too. And it's funny because a lot of the time we talk about how the caterpillars have to sleep and sleep and sleep in order to change. But we've seen, if I'm moving them or if it gets a little too loud in the classroom, sometimes they shake. So they're not always sleeping in there. Sometimes they're a little bit awake. It says, in a day or so, the chrysalises become hard. Mrs. Best moves them to a flight cage. Oh, I've never heard it called that. That's a good word for it, a flight cage, so they can take flight, so they can fly. And she pins the paper towel to the side, and the chrysalises hang down, just as they would from a leaf or branch. Inside each chrysalis, the pupa is transforming into a butterfly. What do we call that transformation? What do we call that big change? Metamorphosis, that's right. Alrighty. There it is. It says here, Mrs. Best put them on the side. Ours are down in the bottom, right? But they're still hanging. One of our chrysalises has this. You see this? Let's read what it says. It says, skin from the final molt. Yeah, one of ours has a really big spot stuck up there. When will the butterflies come out? The children watch and wait, and every day they check the chrysalises. 7 days go by, no chrysalises yet. It says here, when the chrysalises become dark, that's when we know it's almost time for the butterflies to emerge. Let's talk about that for a second. The butterflies, how do they get out of the chrysalis? Do they hatch? I know you know. No, they don't hatch because it's not an egg. They emerge from the chrysalis. They come out of the chrysalis. Alrighty. On the 8th morning, one of the chrysalises is empty, and there's a beautiful butterfly hanging on the net. The butterflies are coming out. The butterflies are emerging. Hang on. Oh boy. It says here, another butterfly is ready to emerge, and its chrysalis breaks open. That's what it looks like. And then the butterfly grabs the paper and pulls itself out, and its wings are just wrapped around its body like a closed umbrella. As soon as the wings are free, they fill with fluid and unfold, and they're soft and slightly damp. The butterfly cannot fly until its wings are straight and stiff. So for an hour or so, the butterfly rests as its wings dry. Now, one by one, the butterflies come out of their chrysalises. Soon the flight cage is full of butterflies. The children cut up oranges and slip them into the flight cage. The butterflies sip the sweet juice, and the sugar gives them energy. I'm going to read the leaf now because it says here, a butterfly drinks with a long tube called a proboscis. Let's say that. Proboscis. It's like a built-in straw that curls up when the butterfly is not using it. Here's a really good picture of it. Right there, you can see that long stick coming out of the front of his face. That's his mouth. His mouth is a long straw called a proboscis. Let's see. It says here, butterflies that live outside, they drink nectar from a flower. Remember I told you that's the fluid that's inside of a flower? But when they live inside, when they live in a flight cage, we have to give them some orange slices so they can sip out the juice, or we can put some apple juice on a paper towel, and I put some flower petals around it so they knew to go there. I've seen people even just give them water with some sugar in it, because that's all they need right now. That's all they need. The butterflies flutter their wings and fly inside the flight cage. When they land, they hang on to the netting with their feet. And the children wonder which butterflies are boys and which are girls, because males and females look almost the same. Usually the females are a little larger and have plumper bodies. See, I did not know that. I'm so glad I got this book. It says here, painted lady butterflies have 6 legs. Well, that makes sense because butterflies are a kind of insect, and insects have 6 legs. They only use 4 of them. The front pair is small and it tucks up behind its head. Here we go. Here's a really good picture. The children look closely at the butterflies. They see that a butterfly's body is divided into 3 parts: the head, the thorax, and the abdomen. On the head are 2 big eyes and a pair of antennae. The wings and legs are attached to the thorax. It says a butterfly smells with its antenna. Can you imagine? They smell with those. It says the eyes are actually clusters of many tiny eyes that help the butterfly see in all directions. Oh yeah, look at that. Tiny colorful scales help make the wings waterproof. The pattern is the same on each side of the body, making the wings symmetrical. And it says down here, I almost missed it, a butterfly tastes with its feet. Surprise. Now, when the butterflies are about a week old, it's time to let them go. I think that might be pushing it a whole week. It's a warm day and not too windy, so the children bring the butterflies outside. Mrs. Best reaches into the flight cage and she waits for a butterfly to climb onto her hand. It also says here on the leaf, it says, a butterfly cannot fly if it's too cold. The outside air must be at least 55 degrees Fahrenheit. 55 degrees. That's light jacket weather for us. Mrs. Best slowly brings the butterfly out of the flight cage. The children stand still and hold out their hands, and Mrs. Best lets the butterfly crawl from her hand to theirs. I'm sure she lets some children say no thank you if they don't want to, but it looks like a lot of children here are saying yes, please. At first the butterfly sits quietly, then it flutters its wings and flies away. Each child gets a turn to hold a butterfly if they want to. And it says here the butterfly hardly weighs anything at all. It's very, very light. One by one, the butterflies come out of the flight cage, and one by one, they fly away. Some of the butterflies land on flowers, some fly up into trees, and some fly over the fence and into the neighborhood. Now, I want to show you this part. When painted lady butterflies are at rest, the pattern on their folded wings helps them hide. That's the second thing I want you to remember about a butterfly. Remember I told you those antennae have little balls on the end? Butterflies also, they like to rest most of the time with their wings folded back. You see a lot of pictures of butterflies where their wings are spread out because it's really pretty to see. But most of the time when you look at a butterfly, his wings are folded back just like that. Oh, I missed a spot. Painted ladies are fast flyers. Their speedy zigzag flight makes it hard for birds and other predators to catch them. Goodbye, butterflies. For the next few weeks, the butterflies will feed on flowers, find mates, and lay their own eggs. And when the eggs hatch, those caterpillars will grow into new butterflies. Perhaps in a month or so, the children in room 6 will find more painted ladies spreading their wings and sipping sweet nectar in the school garden. Hang on, gotta turn the page again. Okay. In the back of the book, we have lots of butterfly questions and butterfly vocabulary. Hold on. Oh, websites you can learn about butterflies, more books for butterflies, and here we have, that's a real class of children right there, Mrs. Best and her kindergartners, who helped us learn all about butterflies. It says they are they're in Los Angeles, California. And I am very glad they shared Metamorphosis with us. The end. Alrighty. Instead of reading all of the vocabulary and the questions, which we can do together in class, I was thinking we could practice our song that we need to practice. It goes like this. These little butterflies, we're gonna let them fly. These little butterflies, we're gonna let them fly. These little butterflies, we're gonna let them fly, let them fly, let them fly, let them fly. Alrighty, that was a long one. Good job, everybody. Thanks for listening.